Hello, my friends. Vinay here, lecturer of exercise science at National Strength and Conditioning Association India and a body transformation and performance coach. But today's episode is not about me. Today's episode is with one of our guests. I call him the young beast. He has been an amazing fitness coach, got plenty of certifications, is a software engineer, doing a full-time job, still producing such an amazing content for Instagram, transforming his clients. But you know the most amazing part about him? He just prepared himself for an amazing photo shoot. If you would just look at his photo shoot pictures, it would blow your mind completely. And today's episode is all about the experience, the journey that he has gone through in his photo shoot prep and what he pulled off, how he did it, the mindset behind it, the nutrition training, supplements, and what are the things that he learned along the way and what are the things you can learn from him so that you can get in your best physique, in the best shape possible, and just rock it into your physique, feel the confidence, and just transform yourself for once and for all. So without spending a lot of time talking about him, I'll give him the mic and I'll let him introduce himself and we'll get started. Over to you, Guneet.
Thanks, coach. Thanks a lot. Thanks for the intro. You covered most of the points that I could say about myself. But generally speaking, I like to call myself firstly an online coach. I also help people transform, and which might come across to people that I approached a coach being a coach. But we'll get to that. I think at some question. That is something that we should definitely cover. But I am a software engineer at JP Morgan Chase. I'm working as an iOS engineer, and I have recently started focusing a lot on my content creation as well. And yeah, that's a little bit about me. I like adventure a lot. I also do MMA recently. I've started doing that ever since the photoshoot prep has ended. So yeah, I'm really excited to get started and talk a little bit more about the entire process and what a journey it has been so far.
Awesome, Guneet. Awesome. I am super excited to talk to you as well in detail about the entire journey, about the experience. And I want to know your side of things as well. Because, you know, as a coach, sometimes what usually happens is we are so in tune with science, art, this change, that change, and all of those things. We forget about how the person feels at the other end. And that is what I want to bring across for all of our clients, all of our listeners, and everybody who's gonna tune in. So, Guneet, out of the entire world, you are still working in a full-time job. You are coaching clients. You are creating such an amazing content. How on earth did you make time and do this amazing transformation? Just give us a little bit of an insight about that.
Again, a big thank you to that coach, to you also, because it's not just about the fact that I wanted to do this to take on a challenge, but this is also something that I've struggled with throughout. I can remember I was lean probably when I was back an athlete. I was playing squash, I was doing boxing. That's the last time I remember myself as lean as I got to at the end of the photo shoot prep. So I wanted to do it. I wanted to see the muscle mass I've built over the years. I wanted to see what it looks like, and secondly, I also wanted to set an example. I wanted to get in that mindset that is required to make a transformation like that, so that I can help my clients, my team better as well. So that's one reason why I did it, and how I did it is mostly thanks to you keeping me accountable and me having a straightforward plan of action, which is very important because I lack time. I don't want to think about these things as to what am I going to eat, what am I going to do, what do I do in the gym, all of that stuff. That was all sorted for me. All I had to do was simply execute, which is why it got a lot easier, and also the constant check-ins from you helped a lot. So I think that's the one reason why I was probably able to pull it off.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much for your praise. But Guneet, again, everything comes down to a question that you are a coach, I am a coach. Why does a coach actually needs a coach? Now I have a different philosophy about it, you have a different philosophy about it, but our philosophy are combining or coinciding at a point which we would like to highlight in the conversation ahead. Because you know the where we met first was one of the coaching conclave. It was a mentorship conclave where we both were a part, we were into the mentorship, and we both were invested in something that was helping us to grow ourselves. You have been on the side of being a coach, you also have been on the side of being a client. I have also been on the side of being a coach and also have been on the side of being a client. We both have invested a lot of money, not just learning about things, but learning it from the client's perspective as well, that how it feels to get coached from somebody. So what do you think, Guneet, why every coach needs a coach?
I think it's basic human nature that even no matter how self-disciplined you are, no matter how much you know about nutrition or training, number one, there is always more to learn when it comes to the knowledge part. But that lacking at accountability part is there amongst, every human. Ab kitne bhi you become disciplined, there is always going to be that point where you might slack off. And having someone to hold you accountable for that, having someone who you respect, you can only get someone as a coach who you respect or look up to. And when that is there and they check in with you, there is an internal thing that comes across that you need to get back, and this is something that you chose to do. You had a reason for that. That's a constant reminder when someone checks in with you, which you often fail to give yourself. And that is why I think every human, every coach would need someone to hold them accountable when they're trying to push their limits. Staying fit for me might not be as big a challenge, but getting to that lean standpoint, that was a challenge. That was something out of my comfort zone, which is why I needed someone to keep me accountable. So I think that's probably why I reached out to you in the first place.
That's superb. That's very nicely explained, Guneet. You know, the reason that I think that everybody needs a coach, even if you are a coach, even if you are the best athlete, this is the analogy I would give here is, even if you are the best brain surgeon in the world, you cannot perform a brain surgery on yourself. You know, even if you are at the peak of your physique, even if you are at the top of your game, even if you are the best in the world, if you still have a coach, only then you would go the next level, because there is always a next level, and that next level could be achieved only if there is someone else who looks at you and gives you the constant reminders, the constant feedbacks, the constant, what we could say, area where you could improve upon, because we always feel that we are the best. We do everything right, we know everything, but majority of the times we don't. And that is where having a coach, keep being accountable to him, having that right guidance and knowing where to improve, what to improve, what is the thing where we are lacking at, is the game changer. Don't you think so?
Yes, absolutely. And I think that point that you talked about, the doctor operating on himself, I never thought of that like that, but yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So it's something that just, you can't really do alone. You might be able to, but it's always more effective and probably going to have a higher probability of success if you have someone on your side. That's definitely something that.
Absolutely. Amazing. Amazing, Guneet. So, coming back onto the topic of the photo shoot. Okay. So, Guneet, could you just give or explain or tell us more about, especially our listeners who are slightly new to the concept of photo shoot and everything? People are just used to seeing models and athletes and people on the influencers and everybody doing the photo shoots and everything. So, could you just give us a small glimpse about what a photo shoot prep actually is and how difficult or how different it is from a regular diet, workout and normal fitness regimen?
Right. So I think when we are preparing to get fitter, or we are slightly overweight, trying to just drop some body fat, get into a physique that looks good and feels good at the same time, that's just getting fitter. Honestly, talking about a photo shoot, that's where you want to push your limits to look super aesthetic or look extra lean on camera. This can be due to separate reasons. It's either a fitness model doing a shoot for a company, or me, for example, doing a shoot for my own branding, for my own, also for my own discipline, and to challenge myself to where I need to get to. But the main thing there is that it is far beyond the limits of just getting lean. It's not as simple as that. For me to have my sixth ab visible was so painful that is not something that I thought would be that painful, and I've helped people get there myself. But just doing it myself was extremely hard. Like I said at the start, getting leaner has always been a challenge for me. And that photo shoot experience was just there, that you go all out. The thought of a photo shoot, the thought of someone clicking you shirtless in a gym where you've completely booked that studio for yourself, that puts a perspective into your head that this is something you're going to go all in for. You're going to give everything that you can and get to the best possible shape. That not might not be, a single digit body fat or, sub 5 digit body fat for everyone, but that means your best, the best you've ever looked, and you want great pictures of that. So that's, I think, a good way to put across what the photo shoot meant to me. But yeah, that's just a little bit.
That's really awesome. Really, really well explained. So, Guneet, what were the biggest roadblocks we could say in the entire photo shoot prep, the entire journey that we have gone through? Because there were ups and downs in the journey. We started off really, really well and we finished off really, really well. But in between, there were like peaks, highs, and low, just like every transformation journey, every success journey, there are highs and lows in between. Could you tell us more about what were the biggest roadblocks that you faced throughout the entire process?
Right. So I'll just start off with how we started. Initially, when we started off, I think we picked up the journey in November, around the 15th, I think. And that's when the first month was very smooth sailing. We just, the plans you gave me, I was able to execute them 100% on point, saw some amazing results. The progress we made in the first 4 to 6 weeks, I said, I think was the major chunk of the progress that we were able to make. And then I
Correct.
remember having gone home. I remember I traveled home, and I don't do that very often. So having gone home, even then I was able to control my meals. I was able to make sure that I do enjoy a little bit, but also make sure that I have goals in mind. So I'm keeping things in check. And we came back. I think the major roadblock first arrived in when I left for Goa. Before that, it was all good. In Goa, I
Correct.
enjoyed, and that kind of threw my mindset off because the trip was supposed to be 3 days, got extended to 7 days because of wrong flight booking, some cancellations, and I stayed in Goa for almost a week, and that ended up, kind of taking me a little astray. We came back, and workload started increasing because you see, financial year ka start hai. That's not financial year, just the year ka start hai, and I had more client onboardings to do because everyone has a new year resolution and they are likely to join the team. So I had a lot of workload there, a lot of workload from the corporate job as well, because December is off for Americans, so they are generally just relaxing during that time. And January, when they come back,
Correct.
there's an increased amount of workload. So everything just piled on, and at the start of January, where everyone else was probably the most motivated to achieve their goals, I was slacking off, and I think I wasted almost 10 to 15 days, 16 days, just not exactly damaging what we had done, but not making further progress. That's the one thing that I would say that we were able to overcome that roadblock because we controlled damage when we were going through that roadblock, and we did not, we could have probably made some progress, but we at least didn't ruin any of the progress we had made. And the second roadblock, I think, was the fact that I wouldn't like to call it a roadblock, but my girlfriend came over, and then she would have all these, good-looking foods and amazing foods, ordering from outside, gourmet stuff, and she would tell me, just take a bite, and that bite is not just the problem. The problem is the fact
Exactly.
much more after that, that I ended up missing a couple of meals, and then I, finally was able to come out and accept what I've done, and I spoke to you about it. And then I think we got on a call. I needed that call for motivation, and I think from there we overcame that roadblock, because after that call, I remember going into the room and saying that, from now on, I'm not taking any of the bites. I'll have the entire thing once this is over. I cannot, take just a couple of bites and sit around. That's not something I want to do. And I remember having that exact sweet dish after my photo shoot that day. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Super, super, super detailed and very nicely explained, very nicely put. These are the challenges that come across in every transformation journey. No transformation journey is like the smooth sailing one. Every transformation journey has got its own challenges and is looks like a roller coaster ride when we are inside it. But when we look at it, just the start and the end, we always find that it was as smooth as a highway, but when we dive deeper, it is always a roller coaster in there. So Guneet, there are a lot of people who get stuck. Okay, there are a lot of people, almost everybody starts super amazing, almost everybody starts very nicely, but majority of people just give up after their roadblocks. Okay, majority of people just give up and they cannot bounce back after a little bit of like going off track. One wedding comes in, one birthday party comes in, one office deadline comes in, and everything. What was the exact thing that you did, whether it be from the mindset perspective, whether it be from like the motivation perspective, whether it be from whatever you try to do to just bounce back from getting stuck somewhere or hitting that plateau somewhere or not being in the best motivated state that you were when you got started? How did you come out from that phase, and what were the strategies that you used?
Right. I think we have spoken about this, or it's been spoken about in mental health a lot, and especially when people go to therapy, the first step they talk about there is acceptance, right? You have to kind of accept what you're doing wrong, and you're not in the place you want to be. So with coaching, with someone having you accountable, that's the good part. You get a lot of opportunities to accept it. You every week there is a check-in, and daily basis pay also you're checking in. So there is always something that you can talk about on a daily basis, but you're probably skipping it because you've not accepted it yourself yet. And unless the coach knows, he can't help you. So I think that's the one thing there I accepted number one to you. And when I said it to you, I realized it came from inside that, I how badly I wanted to do this when I started off. And every time I spoke to you, it reminded me of our first call where we set those goals, where we set those targets, where you wanted to achieve something. And that was a constant reminder. So I think that, process was set up in a way that number one, when I accept, I automatically remind myself of why I wanted to do it in the first place. Secondly, I get some feedback from you. Second thing I would like to say is that there is that concept of a fresh start. Like when we, enroll for coaching and, we discuss some goals, set a target, we feel like this is a fresh start for us. The plans are new. This something different than what we're already doing. We're excited to do it, which is why that excitement kind of gets you going. And I remember that when I had that call with you for the second time, it kind of again gave me that fresh start because I was able to say that we made such great progress in the first 6 weeks, and then for the last 10, 15 days, 20 days, I've kind of been a little not making a lot of progress. And then we came up with the plan of action to get a photo shoot done at an exact date. Pehle wo date we had not finalized, so we decided to
Correct.
plan on a date. That helped a lot because there was a deadline. Secondly, it was just that fresh start was happening again because I knew for a fact that I had been relaxing for the last 20 days. I felt like I was going all in once more. So that kind of also helped me. But acceptance and the accountability process is key to having made that change. And it's basically communication. It's not I would say self discipline or just if you just talk about it a lot, say it more often. I think that is the first step to go.
Awesome, awesome. This is what I tell all of my clients, that accepting or what we could say, that acceptance precedes change. Okay, unless and until we accept where we are at, what are the things that are going wrong, we cannot change anything. So that was the best part. Once we start accepting that there is a scope for change, there is a scope for improvement, there is something that we need to do differently in order to get different results, everything could be different from there on. That was the point that you highlighted really really well. And it is rarely about motivation, it is rarely about motivation. How many people, Guneet, have you seen in your coaching career, in your career, about like you have been very we our generation has been very active on Instagram and everything. How many people have you seen crushing it just on the basis of motivation and just because they are motivated?
Never happens. Never happens. Motivation will just keep going. It'll not stay there for an entire week, most cases. So that's not something that we can bank on.
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, Guneet, what would you like to tell our listeners about motivation, discipline, willpower? What is the thing that they should actually be dependent on, and if in order to succeed in the long run and not just for a specific shorter phase?
Right. So this, I think you changed my perspective on this quite a bit initially when we started off. I'm also making a reel on this. The content is already planned, but it's mostly about the fact that
Let me say this, Gudit. Let me say this. I'm cutting you on this, but the content that you have been posting is like mind blowing. It's like breaking the internet. I saw one of your reel making like very big numbers and going viral and doing amazingly well. So Keep it up, bro. Keep it up. That is like super cool. It is very inspiring to see you putting out like out of the box content. It takes a lot of time and efforts. I have tried it before, but I would say that it takes a lot of time, efforts, planning, and again, editing is like a different concept altogether. So keep it up. The efforts are actually going to pay off in the long run. So yes, we so sorry for the
Thank you so
cut,
much.
but yeah,
Uh,
we were on the motivation wala part.
Right, right. So thank you so much for that. I think I've finally been able to crack a little bit on social media, so I'm even more motivated to do that. Motivated has come now, but that didn't stop me from doing it earlier. So that's probably what I'm also talking about. Um, I was going to say this, that you told me that, do you get up every morning motivated to brush or something like that? You asked me when you were talking the first call, and that rang a bell in my head that we do so many things on a daily basis that we're often not motivated to do. We just do it out of habit, and that habit, to form it, it's taken some time, some discipline, effort, execution that you've put in for some amount of time, and now it starts coming kind of naturally to you. And there might be days where you don't want to brush, but there is always the consequence of having bad breath after that. So it's the same with our fitness goals, right? We know the consequences of not working towards them. We know the consequences of staying the same. Then why are we looking for motivation? Why don't we make it a habit? Why don't we just think about it as something that we have to do regardless of how we feel? We might not be able to do it to our best extent on a daily basis, but we just need to show up. And that show up wali baat just changed the game for me. I was always super consistent for the first 4 weeks or 6 weeks of my getting lean transformation journey. It was always this first 6 weeks that were always good, and it was always downhill from there. But this time we came back up just because we were showing up. That's all.
Fantastic, fantastic. Very super answer, Guneet. So going on to the next part, and this is the most exciting part. Everybody is so excited and are eagerly waiting for this part. कि यार क्या था आपका supplementation, nutrition, training, diet? What were the things? What was your supplement protocol? What was your nutrition training protocol? And what were the things that we did that got us the results that we got? So could you just briefly tell all of our listeners about how we went about nutrition training, supplementation, and one by one, slowly, steadily?
All right. So I think we started off the plan with not too sure about, like, I wouldn't say go into the calories specifically, but should I talk about my meals a little bit as to how what we were eating, how I was
Yeah,
eating on a day-to-day basis?
absolutely. How we were eating, just a broad overview about what was the mindset and what were the things that we were focused on when it comes to the nutrition aspect. And we'll go on with training and then supplement last.
Right. So I think the meals you gave me initially were slightly different from what I was already eating. We started off with a breakfast of egg whites or whey and fruit, and that was a big game changer when it came to energy levels, when it came to productivity. You had already told me that egg whites are easy to digest, whey is easy to digest, and something that's kind of gets processed like that. It's got rich in protein. It's likely to sustain our energy levels well. So that was the number one thing which people kind of miss out in fat loss, is that how they start their day matters a lot. If I just skipped my first meal and went to lunch after having spent 3 4 hours, I probably might not have been satiated with vegetables and chicken. Just but because the meal timings on every meal was planned in a way that it was kind of going hand in hand, the entire day's meals together looked good. It was never one meal that was that was carrying my day. So we started the breakfast off with whey and fruit or egg whites, whey or egg whites, and then there was a lunch where we would have a lot of vegetables. When I say a lot, and there was chicken breast, and on most days of the week initially we had rice or roti. And rice and roti also, like, a good amount was there in our meals on the majority days, at least when we started off. And that was pretty simple actually. The whey and fruit wala meal was repeated as a snack in the evening, and the lunch was also repeated as the dinner. So I could obviously change up the recipes, the food sources remained the same, but I was eating very similar throughout the day, which helped me a lot. It might seem monotonous to people, but it actually works like a charm, especially when you're busy, because you don't have to think about anything. You don't have to think. about what different thing you need to cook, and what taste, but how you'll incorporate some taste. And there are always some kind of different things people put in their plans just to make it fancy or make it look amazing, but you don't need that. We were eating the basic foods. We were eating stuff like vegetables, chicken, if you're vegetarian, I'm guessing paneer and stuff like that. um, Basic carb sources like rice and roti, fruits. So everything good that you can talk about. Only thing that we were not eating is a lot of junk and a lot of fried food. But that's obviously, I think that's something we can't have while preparing for a photo shoot. So that's a little bit about the process. I think you can expand a little bit more since you were the coach.
Absolutely.
So.
Amazing, Guneet. Could you just put some light on to the fact that how important is it to keep our meals same and have a structure about our nutrition plan?
It's very important as someone who is busy and someone who doesn't have all the time in the world to cook every meal, and is not very I like cooking, but I'm not that passionate about it that every day I go into the kitchen I want to cook a completely different recipe. Even if I was, I could have done that, but that's just because time is limited. Keeping food sources was same, and meals also more often than not same, helped me a lot, and it took a lot of stress off my mind, which comes in because I'm preparing for a photo shoot. I've got a coach, and I've got a lot riding on it. I've spoken about it on social media. I've publicly kept myself accountable as well for the same. So I want to do everything that would set me up for success, and I think that having the same meals is one of those things that I just need to do to make sure that we are consistent. So yeah.
Fantastic. That was mind blowing. So, moving on to the training aspect, how did our training look like, and what was the best part that you thought about when we talk about training?
So before I started this transformation journey, I used to train around 4 to 5 days a week only in terms of strength training. But I used to do cardio like once a week. I used to run a 5K once a week. And in this plan, we not only incorporated more mobility. That was something that I was not very used to doing. I was not giving that out, to my clients either, or talking a lot about specific mobility drills. I was always, just saying that strength training is good enough, and you might just do a little bit of cardio along with that. But it opened my mind up. I think the hip mobility exercises that you gave, I noticed a significant difference in, the way I leg press and the way I squat after, having done some hip opening movements, and it just felt very good overall. And in training, we were training 4 times a week. We were doing upper, lower K those sessions, and we were also doing cardio and some abs 2 times a week, which again, something that I was not used to. I was not used to going to the gym just for cardio and abs. That's something I probably would have never done alone, but now I do it again. I do it more often because it's just something that kind of keeps. If when you go to the gym, you want to do something, you want to stay motivated. Like if I just kept a cardio day other than the gym, unlikely that I'll go outside and just do a run or do something and come back. But when I have to show up to the gym and there is something to do in terms of cardio, I think that gets done better. So while I would recommend people to go and do cardio outside if they can, going to the gym is never a bad idea because it kind of puts you in the mood to get the work done. So yeah, I think that's 4 days of strength training, 2 days of cardio and abs, some mobility, and one rest day. That's the training protocol.
Awesome, awesome. I hope you like that approach because it covers up everything, everything. We just regulated the volumes of training the muscle groups as well. We made sure that we were choosing the exercises that were high in stimulus to fatigue ratio. We were making sure that our endurance was not something that was getting suffered in the entire transformation process. Mobility and again working on our abs. There was a very cool incident about the abs workout, especially the cable crunches, if you would remember about that. We got started with the form and technique of the cable crunches and everything. That was something that we absolutely worked upon in the time that we have had together. So you are making amazing content on the form and technique wala videos in the gym, how to exercise and improve the form and technique. So I would like you to do a video on cable crunches as well.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do that. That'll be rather funny when I bring up the point that we spoke about. I had some concerns about the
Exactly.
exercise, the way we were supposed to do it, but yeah, it worked out beautifully. So yeah,
Amazing, amazing, amazing. So, Guneet, let's talk about supplementation, the most trending topic, the topic that everyone feels that this is the game changer in the entire journey. How big of a role supplements played in our transformation journey, and which were the supplements that you were new to and you were shocked with the effect that they have had in the transformation journey?
So I think we, of course, added in the basic supplements, which included, vitamin D, omega 3, and it also included a multivitamin. So we were consuming. I think they were the most important vitamins, most important supplements, even more important than whey, even more important than creatine, because they were responsible for keeping me healthy throughout. And especially when we're eating less, energy levels and all are, kind of anyways might be bound to go down after a point, not at least not at the initial first 8 to 10 weeks, towards the end only. But I think that's where this matters a lot, because we might not be able to complete our nutritional requirements with just whole food sources. And even if we can, get to the base levels, having higher, levels of these vitamins and nutrients in your body will make you feel completely different. And one only realizes them when you reach the upper ends, or you're actually starting supplementing them for a while. You don't realize that there is a problem, but when you solve it, you realize, oh, this is so much better. So that's something that I wanted to say about these vitamins and minerals. Apart from this, I think we had whey and creatine. Second half of the journey, we also added in casein, which was a big game changer when it came to satiety. And that's something that I had not done before. I was always just having whey. I would often take whey with milk, considering that would have a similar effect. But having added casein made a bigger difference, because that definitely kept me more satiated than even whey and milk. And that there was a noticeable difference in that. Casein being slow digesting, I guess that's probably the reason why. Second, the third thing, I think the supplement that mattered quite a bit was citrulline and caffeine, because I do work a lot. I do like coffee a lot, and especially when it comes to working out, I kind of, sometimes in the morning would not feel like going to the gym. So that time the pre-workout helped a lot. I was not taking it on a daily basis, mainly because I like coffee. So I like having some cups of coffee for the later part of the day. So I would not take it on a daily basis. But yeah, that pre-workout definitely did help out, because you could also, get a good pump thanks to citrulline that was inside it. That good pump would, motivate you to go to the gym, because you felt good inside the gym. So
Fantastic, fantastic. The supplement stack, everybody is so excited to hear about, everybody is so excited to know about. And using the right supplements in the right dosage at the right time is more important than which supplements you take. Now, even when we talk about omega 3s, majority of the omega 3s on the market are severely underdosed, I would say. Okay, just 500 milligram omega 3 with the EPA and DHA ratio is like out of nowhere. Means literally you'll have to take like 8 to 10 of those tablets to hit the thresholds of EPA and DHA every day. Again, citrulline, beta alanine, these supplements severely underdosed in pre workouts. Caffeine severely overdosed in the pre workouts.
yeah.
So, knowing the ratios about this, knowing the dosages about this, the right times, again, caffeine, if we take caffeine when we are going to the workouts in the evenings, the pre-workout is going to be the most harmful supplement for you in terms of your recovery, in terms of your sleep, and in terms of your overall progress as well. So just supplement is the most trending topic, but which supplement to take, when to take it, the right dosage of it, the right timing of it, all of these things matters more than the actual supplements that we are talking about. Yeah, what would you say on this?
Absolutely. It's not just about, pumping in more supplements. More isn't always better. You need the right things. You can actually take out a couple of things if required. But
Correct.
when it comes down to, dieting down and having less food, the micronutrient needs are very, very high. I feel like your body just, functions better if everything is complete. And yeah, I think that adding casein to me right now would probably not be as ideal. It will not make a lot of sense to me, because there's not the requirement. I was feeling hungry. I needed more satiety at that point in my life. So casein was a great addition. So that timing definitely matters a lot. So very well said, coach.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. The thing that I always say, more is not always better. Better is better. And we should, as a coach, I teach this to all of my students and everyone that as a coach, all of these chota chota things, HIIT, supplements, strength training, mobility drills. Then we have got cardio, zone 2 cardio, incline walks, outdoor walks, steady state cardio, and the interval training and functional training, abs workout, this workout, that. All of these things are just tools in our toolbox. We as a coach should know when to use the right tool and when is the right time to use the right tool. If we just use the right tool for the right job, the job gets done very effortlessly and we do not spend or waste, I would say, waste a lot of time, efforts and money as well.
Right.
Very big thing that I would like to highlight here.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I think it comes down to the fact that timing matters, and secondly, overwhelming nahi hona chahiye for someone who is starting the journey, that you've got so many supplements to take. We did not add all the supplements in from the very first day. We added them in when we felt like now the requirement is increasing. So that's when we started adding these in. And initially, when you're starting off your journey, just to purchase a huge stack of supplements might get you excited, but it burns a hole in your pocket that you're not, willing enough yet to see. Right? You might see a little bit of progress. You want to go the extra mile. You add something in, make changes according to that. But first day in the gym, don't need to get the entire stack. So that's also timing and the right choices of what would be more important for you.
Correct. Also, a very burning question out there in the photo shoot prep world, that we are preparing for a photo shoot prep. Should we keep taking creatine for the prep or we should quit creatine?
So we never stopped creating. So I think that's not a problem at all. I don't see how it made any difference. And as far as what I've read about creatine, it's only going to help with better energy levels in the gym when it comes to that extra one rep. Plus, it's also going to make your muscles look fuller. By the end of it, that's what we want. We want our muscles to be full. We want to look bigger. And just manipulating nutrition in the right way and making sure that we're consistent, we can drop our body fat percentage. So the difference it would have made would probably be insignificant, and the benefits it gives is significant. So I think that's what I would have to say about that.
Yes, that's absolutely true. The water retention part of the creatine is actually, it retains water, no doubt, but that is intramuscular water.
Right.
The water is stored inside your muscle. That just makes your muscle look fuller. That just holds on a lot more creatine phosphate, which gets converted to like ATP. When it gets like broken down for energy, it gets converted into like AMP. A lot of phosphorus molecules are there. They get again, AMP gets converted to again ATP, ADP, and all of those things. So better for energy levels, better for functioning, and quick burst of energy, better PRs. And recently creatine has also been shown for like increasing the cognitive performance as well. So it's been showing amazing benefits, at least in the earlier research, when it comes to like treating mental disorders, cognitive disorders, and improving the mental performance as well. So it's absolutely worth taking. Supplement absolutely worth taking.
Right. It's probably one of my favorite
What?
supplements, creatine.
Absolutely, every muscular guy out there would say the best supplement or the most favorite supplement would be creatine. The creatine would always and always stay on top of the list, I would say.
Yes.
So, Guneet, what was the most difficult part, I would say, the most challenging part throughout the journey, throughout the phase? What was the most difficult aspect that you overcame throughout?
I think it was fixing my routine. It was getting up in the morning. It might sound like something very base, but I've been going to the gym for a very long time. So, that might
Correct.
come naturally to me. Being consistency in the gym is not something I had to really push myself for. It was a habit for me at this point. Nutrition, again, there were some cravings, but not something that I would say, is a big change. It's something that you have to push yourself through. And every time that comes up, that craving comes up, you have to equally fight it every single time. It's not something कि आपने एक बार कर लिया and next time it will not happen only. You have to do it every single time. But the most difficult part was setting my routine right so that I could set my body up for success. That's something that being a coach I wanted to do, but due to like late working hours, getting free at like 12:31, I would just want 2 3 hours to myself, that I do something, relax. That's just a basic human requirement, that you kind of relax and you want to go to sleep after that. But that's because I was working I was getting up late also, and my circadian wasn't fixed. I was sleeping at around 4, getting up often around 11, 12, sometimes even. Office mera is in the US. Sorry, I've got a US team, so our working hours tend to kind of shift towards the later half of the day. But I could have actually gotten a lot of coaching work done during the first half if I got up on time, and that would have made me kind of go to sleep in time as well, because I would automatically be feeling relaxed by the end of the day. And I used to work out in the evening. Now working out in the evening was a problem in its own, because that would, like you mentioned to me about the cortisol levels in our body and how they fluctuate during the day. And evening me again, I'm raising cortisol, I'm again kind of inhibiting that sleep that I want to get at the right time at night. And I would also take caffeine off in the evening. I knew all the consequences of taking caffeine in the evening, but there were so many things that were piling on, leading me to delay my nighttime and then in the morning. So getting up in the morning, getting my workout done, first half, got some time to work on my coaching clients, got some time to cook myself breakfast, sit down, relax, and then finally go to work. Once that work day was ended, I was already, very relaxed, very fatigued. I don't have anything in terms of more working out to do. I might go on a little bit of a walk post dinner, so that also relaxes me further, and I go to sleep. So that lifestyle change that's been there, I've kept that constant. I still focus on doing that. I'm still trying to maintain that, because that was what set me up for success. It was the hardest and also the most useful part for me to implement. So yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. That is something that nobody talks about. Everybody talks about motivation, discipline, going to the gym. Diet is the most difficult part, workout is the easier part, and things like that. But putting it all together, fixing the entire puzzle, putting in all of the variables, and finally putting it all together is, I think, the most challenging part. It is not just the diet, it is not just the workout, it is not just the sleep, it is not just the step counts. It is about the entire equation, because when we solve the entire equation, that's when we get the results. Just doing the best workout in the world, just having the best diet plan in the world, or just having the best sleep supplements in the world might rarely do something for us. And you put it very well, and very nice to listen that you are still keeping up with the same routine and still following the same things as as we have built over the period of time. Very nice to know about that. The next question, Guneet, here is, we talked about a lot of challenges, a lot of roadblocks, a lot of things that were a challenge for us. But what was the best part about the journey, Guneet? What do you think was the best thing that happened with you throughout the process?
Personally, I think even having gone to the gym for 5 odd years, 4 5 years now, I've been training for a very long time. I've never felt as confident or even as athletic for that matter that I have after the end of the photoshoot prep. I was strong, and I think I was more focused on the fact about how I felt, even though the photoshoot prep is all about how you look. I, in the end, felt so different because I was number one lean again. I had been doing cardio 2 times a week at a, in a good heart rate zone. Just getting the work done, it improved my stamina. It's, taken my confidence in terms of athletic performance to a new level. And it's also, I'm also looking the best I've ever looked. So in terms of that, I would say the best thing about the entire transformation is that just going through that transformation journey again. And it might come across as something cliche to most people, but I've done this so many times. I've transformed myself multiple times, because you tend to slack off, then you come back a little bit. So there is this often challenge that you take and you transform. And this was probably the biggest one, and I was so proud to have gone through it with all the roadblocks. And like I said again, having never been able to have a successful cut that lasted any more than 6 weeks was a major thing to me. And just understanding that I've done it, and building a mindset on that was the best thing. And now that gives me more to carry over into my coaching, and more to carry over in terms of living the example life for my clients as well. So those are a couple of the best.
Fantastic. Fantastically put, Guneet. Fantastically put. How did you actually feel after seeing your final pictures?
Oh, it was amazing. Like I was looking at them and I was like, this is me. Like I finally gone and done this. I have like crazy looking pictures of myself in a professional setting, professional camera, gym. Everyone was there just for me, and the pictures look great. We've got something that we can post on social media. It's just insane to see yourself looking like a fitness model that you've always seen on magazines, you've always seen on in movies. So it's just, yeah, that's something that I can't describe how I felt when I saw those pictures. Even when the photo shoot was going on, when he was showing me the pictures in the middle, I was like, whoa, I look good. That's insane. So yeah.
Crazy, crazy, Guneet. The first time I went for my client photo shoot. Now there have been like multiple client photo shoots so far in my coaching career so far. The first time I still remember, he was a friend of mine. He is also a coach himself. His name is Nizam, and he's a very avid listener of our podcast. And hopefully he'll feel very good when he listens about this point that I'm saying about him. He's also gonna be a guest in the coming weeks. So all of the listeners, stay tuned. You are gonna get amazing guests are lined up. So Guneet, what he said to me on the photo shoot day when we were clicking photo shoots, when we were clicking photos, and there was one specific video that we recorded about him, and the photographer and me, we just went to him and we were just showing him. He looked at my eyes and he told me that he used to call me Vinay Bhai. So he told me, Vinay Bhai, I cannot believe that the person in the photo is me. And I still cannot, I still cannot believe that I have achieved this and I have actually built the physique that I had always dreamt of. I still exactly remember the emotions that he had on his face, the feelings that he had inside when he was telling me this, and I would most probably remember this till the last day of my life. The moment is like unforgettable moment for me. So that's been something that I feel like, yeah, Guneet, yeah, the transformation journey is not just about the results that we get at the end of the process. It is about the person that we become throughout the journey. That is what real transformation is, I believe.
That's so true. And you asked me at the beginning of starting this conversation if I had my AirPods with me. So a funny story about the AirPods. That day, when I was done, and these are AirPod Maxes. So they're rather expensive headphones, and I care a lot for them generally. But on that day, on the photo shoot day, I was so satisfied. I was so happy that we finally done it, and I was also very fatigued by the end of the day because it's a long process, that photo shoot, and you've not had a lot of water. So moment the photo shoot ends, you wanna sit down, drink your water, eat some. Like I was craving fruits at that point. Like imagine after a photo shoot, I'm craving fruits, not sweet dishes, fruits, and
That is something that I haven't come across very often.
that's probably because I had not had a lot of water and I was just looking for that refreshing feeling that you get after eating fruits. And yeah, the main point was that I kind of like completely became so relaxed after the photo shoot. Everything that just the kind of I went into a meditative state for some time after the photo shoot. I was just fatigued. I was excited, but I was also just very happy that this is done. And I've finally gone through with it. That I almost forgot my headphones in the gym. I went down Niche and we were waiting for our cab, and then suddenly my girlfriend asked me that, where are your headphones? Like you got them. Then I remembered. I would have forgotten them in the gym. And it was also not inside the gym that I'd forgotten them. Our bags were kept outside. So it was on the floor outside the gym. I would have probably lost them if not for my girlfriend. So I was just not, I was not focused on anything else. All I could think about was that, we've done this. That's how, consuming the feeling is after getting something like that done.
Forgetting about AirPod Max is like
Right?
it is like a lot of money,
Yeah.
and just literally not being worrying about like AirPod Max, yeah, देख लेंगे.
मतलब,
I can imagine how the feeling that would have been when you just remember that, oh, I have actually forgot my AirPod Max in the gym, and that also not inside the gym, outside the gym, and the feeling that you would have ran to the gym just to get the AirPods back again would have been like
yeah,
so cool.
it was an utter shock to know that I've forgotten them because I am always very careful of them at least. But that day I was just not focused on anything else. All I was focused on was that it's done. We've finally done it. That's all.
That's so amazing. That's so amazing, Guneet. Guneet, tell me one thing. Do you feel like the same person after the photo shoot as you were before the photo shoot prep began?
Not at all. Not at all. Business has never been better. Work has never been better. Content has never been better. everything in my life has improved. I think the exercise execution series, for that matter, that's gone viral or that's doing well. I don't think it would have done that well if I didn't have the physique to back it up while doing the exercises. So that's something that's carried over there also, and of course, from inside the person, my coaching has improved a lot now. I've started getting better client results simply because I would earlier, when people would come across and talk to me about their problems, I would tend to push them, but I would also be relaxed about it, a little chill with them about it, because I was not as strict with myself. But when I did it myself, I kind of felt like I suddenly had the authority to also, tell them to do it, because I don't want to be a hypocrite. I don't want to be eating, junk and telling them ki nahi aap mat khao, you should not be eating this up. So it came down to that I made sacrifices. I knew what it took to get there, and if they have a similar goal, I can ask them to go through similar inputs, and I think that's the major way it's changed me. It's made me more productive. It's made me more disciplined, and I'm just able to do a lot more for some reason, like now, that I was able to earlier. So yeah, I'm definitely not the same person.
So cool, Guneet. This is the thing that has happened with me as well. And you also mentioned about the same thing, that transformation does not just change our physical appearance, it changes everything. Everything, not just our body, but also our life, how we look at life, how we look at excuses, how we look at problems, how we look at things that we first thought were impossible for us. Okay, when somebody lives on an 800 calorie diet, 1,000 calorie diet for continuous 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, he feels that he could move the mountain by himself. There, nothing seems impossible after that. Nothing seems impossible. And just this feeling, just like you told that business has never been better, after my photo shoot the next month I hit the biggest month in terms of revenue, just because I was in a different state of mind. Okay, the conversion rate was the best because I had that conviction in my voice, because I had done the thing myself. I had things to back it up, that I have did it and it is possible. You could do it. The people had already seen it on my Instagram. The people had already been a part of the journey, because my transformation took a very long time. It took like 6 8 months back to back, and I had been recording, documenting, and sharing about my progress, about what are the things that I am doing on the Instagram as well. People were excited. People were seeing that this guy is doing something, this guy is relentlessly onto a pursuit of doing something, and that inspires people to take action as well. And hopefully that was something that inspired you to reach out to me as well. And this is the most important part. This is why every coach should work with a coach and get something like a photo shoot done, I would say. What do you think about it, Guni?
I think that makes a lot of sense. And it's also just about, taking on challenges. We as humans might achieve something in our life, but one achievement is not going to keep us proud of ourselves for, the next 10 years, probably 10 days. And uske baad you need new challenges to take on. So this also transforming yourself will, transform you every single time you make or take a challenge or, get successfully completed. So when I first started building muscle, getting to, let's say, 14 inches ka arm size was a massive achievement. That made me feel on top of the world for 10 days. And, I first lost weight the first time I saw abs. That made me feel so good, and I had all that conviction. So that thing is something that needs to be constant. You need to keep taking some challenges, keep putting in the work, and keep showing up. If especially if you're a coach and you haven't gotten a photo shoot done yet, I think it's one of the things that is very important, because it's nothing will teach you discipline or the amount of effort it takes to get something like done than doing it yourself. You can probably also not help a lot of people get that physique if you've not done it yourself, because it's not just theory. It's a lot about the mental aspect of things, and understanding why people slack off and where they might. As a coach, you need to have the understanding of that. Otherwise, it's very hard to have someone achieve that.
Correct. It's like guiding people to reach the top of the Everest without you being on the top of the Everest, right?
Yeah.
It is very, very like unrealistic to guide somebody to do something that you haven't done it for yourself.
Yeah, it's like the Sherpas will not draw a map for you and say कि यहाँ चले जाओ. They will obviously hold your hand and take you there. They will carry some of your luggage for you. That's basically the entire point of having someone along with you for the journey, because it's hard.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, Guneet, we are almost at the end, near the end part of the podcast, and this part is just about the introspection, and it is more for the listeners than for we both. So, what were the top three, five learnings that you have had through this phase and that you would carry along with you for the rest of your life?
So I think number one would be stop searching for motivation. I used to always say that, but I realized it the most on this journey. Stop searching for motivation. Secondly, keep taking
And
on.
become the motivation for someone.
Becoming, of course, is I'm grateful that someone would think that, but that's the second thing. I think there would be that keep on taking challenges. Don't ever ride on something you've done in the past. Keep doing it constantly, because you yourself will feel better about it, more confident about it, have more authority about it. um, Third best thing I would say is I just was drained out earlier. I've already said as to what things I do in life. I've got so many things, so many entire career paths that I have going in my life for some reason. But like they are, I used to feel fatigued with that, and I've never felt better. I'm building systems. I'm also working on making a team at our coaching career, coaching business right now. So this is also something that has come across. I've never been better in each and every field of my life. That's another positive that I would love to take away from this transformation. And lastly, I think the eating habits that I generate, inculcated during this transformation are something that I will also carry on and keep doing for life, because and also the training protocol for that matter. I plan to work more as being a hybrid athlete, or being more as someone who's athletic and strong, not just like muscular. I started doing MMA. I couldn't do MMA properly. I committed to it in the middle of our transformation, but I stopped because, of course, there was too much to pursue at that particular time. But now that I have the time, I have the calories to eat to recover. Um, MMA is back in, so I am doing so much more than I ever imagined to, and a lot of that credit goes to the photo shoots. I think I mentioned four things. Those are probably the biggest positives that I would take away from the photo shoot journey.
Fantastic, fantastic. Guneet, if you haven't realized so far, or if I haven't told you this before so far, that you are a hyper responder to strength training and the hypertrophy benefits. Do you know about this or not?
No, I'm not aware, but I've always felt like it's been easier for me to gain and build muscle. That's yeah.
Correct. So there have been a lot of studies and everything, and people have found out that are keeping the same volume, nutrition the same, training the same, everything the same. There are people who are hyper responders to training, that they will gain strength, hypertrophy, muscle mass, everything very quickly. And there are some non-responders kind of a people who, despite doing everything right, they would respond very slowly to it.
Hmm.
And when somebody is a hyper responder in something, then the amount of work it takes to like achieve like the elite physique is kind of less. I would not say it is less or minimal or you do not need effort, but kind of less than the rest of the people. So here you have a very good scope to become that hybrid athlete actually. Okay, the thing that I plan on doing myself also is like the aesthetic athlete kind of a thing that I always have on the back of my mind, because I am still playing cricket. I do enjoy playing basketball as well. I have played nationals and state in both of the sports respectively, but I was never aesthetic. Now
Hmm.
I am aesthetic, but now I do not have enough time to like be athletic and go out and play every day or every weekend. But that is always on the back of my mind. Whenever I design a training protocol, I make sure that we are not just planning for the strength training, the hypertrophy training and things like that, but we are periodizing things in such a way where we are including a phase where we are focusing on one aspect, a phase where we are focusing on the other aspect, and that is also something that I do. But as you are a hyper responder to like strength training and hypertrophy and all of those things, you can like add a lot of variety to your training protocols and be like a live example for the person that you want to become and the person that you dreamt of becoming, and the other people's it would be very easy to like follow you, and you could be setting the right examples about how to actually get the things done if somebody is interested in becoming that kind of athlete, hybrid athlete kind of a thing.
Right. Plus, I think that it's high time that people realize that strength training is gym is not just about building muscle for aesthetics. I think I've never,
It's
focused much.
carry over to the life, it's carry over to sport, it's carry over to everything that we do. Is
That's, I think that's probably why I also want to not just set an example, but know for myself that, there's so much you can do when it comes to fitness. People think you can either be a good athlete or you can have muscle on your body. That I know
correct.
the conventional examples of athletes in the world are generally, at a very lean standpoint, not heavily muscular. But that's also because, there is, I think, a lot of relation to body weight when it comes to speed in sports. So it's less about the muscle mass or anything as such. It's more about, just being fast and agile. And also, I'm guessing they have such high activity levels that kitna bhi khayenge, they probably stay lean, especially talking about these athletes. So yeah, that's a little bit, and I want to get there myself very soon. So
Fantastic, fantastic. So, Guneet, what would be the things that you would do differently in your next prep? Now, just like we have planned, we are not planning on to do a next prep at least 1 year down the line. But after that, whenever you plan out your next prep, what are the things that you would do differently?
That's a good question. I haven't thought about that, but if I was to, of course, I'll do another prep. It's not this the only one that I do in my entire life. There would be one coming very soon after this, off-season phase. But I think now I completely understand, the time frame also to expect on doing this, because initially when I started off, I was not very sure also if I could actually get it done because that confidence in myself was low. And towards the end, I was happy to have built that confidence. But next time around, I think I can use it from the very start because now I've done it in the past. I, from the very start, know that this is going to happen. And I know very well as to how, doing certain things would affect this journey. So I would just minimize on the mistakes I made and probably would realize them sooner. It took me 25 days to, finally get back and accept that, I've been messing up. Next time around, it'll probably take me two. So that's what it's about. I think we'll probably do a much better job next time around with a little more muscle mass. And yeah, so that's that.
Absolutely, absolutely amazing. Also, we talked a lot about the muscle balance and things like that for getting that aesthetic physique and everything. There are a few muscles that if we work on a little more in the off season, the next prep and the next shoot would you would be in a completely different dimension, and the illusions that it would create would be completely different.
Right. Absolutely.
Last question, Gunit, and we are ending the podcast after this. What would be your top three suggestions or advice to people who are planning to do a photo shoot prep and trying to get into the best physique that they have ever had?
All right. So I think there's this one quote that I recently started, talking to people about or saying is that ambition without execution is hallucination. So everyone has. Now, this is not just in a photo shoot prep, but it's also in life. We often have a vision to do so many things. We think about being someone, being a particular figure, or having a particular physique, and we just don't get started because we're overwhelmed with what it would take to get there. So the first step, of course, get started. Hire a coach, hire someone who will help you with this journey, who will has the knowledge, and you can blindly trust when it comes to giving them responsibility of such a big decision and such so much effort that you're going to put in. So number one would be the start. Number two would be again that acceptance thing that we've spoken about a lot, that accept mistakes and convey them, communicate them. That's the only way we can grow, whether it's in life, we are going through something hard in our life. It's not going to improve unless we talk to someone about it. We get it out of our system. We realize and accept what's going wrong. So these all of I can't believe how big carryovers these have into our real life. Just these three things, learning from a photo shoot, which might seem trivial to people because it's just your body transforming, right? They'll think yeah, to bas physique transformation, but that's where it plays a huge role. That acceptance would be the second, and the third one would be I think don't wait like you need to be like confident. Like I think people kind of doubt themselves from the very start as to the fear of failure is so high that they don't ever end up starting. And that is in correlation to the first point, but yeah, it is about the fact that you will never have the confidence to do it unless you've done it. And that will never come from a strong belief system. That will come from actually doing it and making the evidence that you're capable of doing it. So I think that would be the 3 points from me. Mostly it's mental. Everything about the journey has been mental. So that's a little bit.
Amazing, super amazing, Guneet. The more clients I work with, the more I realize that body transformation is more of a mental challenge than it is a physical challenge. The sooner we realize this, the better the progress would be, the faster the results would be, and the more fruitful and resistance free the entire journey would be. What do you think?
Absolutely, that's very well said, coach. And you've seen this across multiple people. I've seen this at least with myself. So this is something that this will hold true forever and always.
Amazing, 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 Guneet. I told you that it was the last question, but this question just came to my mind just as you were talking about it. So, Guneet, could you guide all of our listeners about how to choose the right coach?
How to choose the right coach? All right. So for me, number one step would be, are they showing up every day? Like whether it is, I mean, for me to trust someone as a coach, I would need to, actually see their work on a daily basis. So on social media is the only way to do it, because in real life nowadays we don't have like also many great coaches around us, surrounding us in a day-to-day basis. So on social media, I would number one look at the fact is I should be able to, completely trust that person, and that would happen if they're showing up daily on Instagram, posting a little bit about what's going on in their life, and obviously posting some social proof. And I know that you've coached people for this in the past. Secondly, is I think the biggest factor that motivated me to reach out to you was the fact that you just did a photo shoot yourself. You just did it, and you're a coach yourself. You have a good client base. There's probably no specific need to transform. कि you get that photo shoot and your life was good. ऐसा नहीं है कि आप वो नहीं करोगे तो you're unfit or anything like that. But you still did it, and I kind of understood that mindset it took, and you would probably understand as a coach where I'm coming from. Secondly, while hiring a coach, if you're a coach, I would say you want someone who's more knowledgeable than you. You're not going to go to someone who you think knows less than you, or runs a coaching service that is
Correct.
not at par with yours. You would go to someone who you feel is better at these things than you. So that would be the one thing. And as a consumer, who, even if you're not a coach, if you're just a lifestyle client who wants to come and transform, I think that thing really matters, that you need to respect the coach before you start off. That's why I turn a lot of my friends away when it comes to coaching them, because I feel like that authority will only come when they respect you to the fullest extent. So while picking coach, make sure that you respect them and you feel like they would understand your life problems, or they lead a similar lifestyle to what you want to get to, or have helped people lead a similar lifestyle as to what you want to get to. So yeah, couple of things.
Correct. That was very well put by you. The three things that I always tell everybody, even on the calls when I get with potential people who are coming on for calls, I tell them that always verify three things. Number one is the knowledge, not just in terms of certifications. Now we can have like hundreds of certifications, but not the real life knowledge. So actual knowledge and understanding about the certification, what you have learned, whether you are able to apply it in real life scenarios or not, that is the number one point. Point number two is, are they actually producing results?
Yeah,
They might know everything, they might understand everything, they might have the best certification in the world, but is that knowledge getting translated to the results? Are they able to apply the things not just on their physique but on someone else's physique? Are they able to work with variety of clients, or at least the niche that they are working with? Are they actually able to get results out of those clients? Number two, and number three is their own physique. I think the coach's own physique matters a lot for me, because now we are just sitting here talking about photo shoot and everything, Puneet. How difficult is it for you and even for me to trust somebody who hasn't undergone a photo shoot prep himself, who hasn't gone to that level, who hasn't stayed on 800 calories for 6 to 8 weeks? How would he be able to guide us to do the thing? Okay, and that adds in a different level of respect for us as well, ki yaar, this guy has already achieved what I have to achieve, so this guy would definitely know something that I do not know about. Although this is the last point that I would say, the physique again, knowledge first, application second, and their physique third. But if we have all of these three combined in a coach, in a person that we are trying to like get coached from, I think that would be the best combination. What do you say?
That's actually on point. That physique part I missed out. But yeah, even if the person is not like completely jacked or anything, like doesn't look like the best bodybuilder, what
Correct.
matters is the effort they put in. Like for example, I wanted to get lean, so
Correct.
I'm not going to compare, the stats in the gym or athletic standpoint. I will compare the lean wala part. Jo mere ko achieve karna, I will compare that.
Correct.
So it comes down to that. Then it comes down to effort, because I understand that there might be some people with not the best genetics who might not be able to achieve a physique as
Correct.
good as the social media profiles we see these days. That doesn't mean I would respect them less, but if they are putting in the work, I
Correct.
think there is nothing more than that would matter. And when it comes down to that, that's why I keep saying, like, I could have done better, I could have done better, because I know for a fact that there was definitely more effort on the table that I could have put in, provided I had a little more mental space to get going. But again, there is always a next time. There is always another photoshoot prep that we'll be doing sometime in the future. And yeah, so that's a little bit.
Awesome, awesome, Guru. That was super fantastic podcast recording with you. I really love the experience that you have had. The only regret I want every client who works with us to have after enrolling with us, after getting the results and everything, is that the regret of not getting started sooner. Only that regret I want every client of ours to have. And I hope I was able to deliver on the promises that I made to you when we talked for the first time, and you hopefully you had an amazing experience as well.
Absolutely, coach. It's been a great pleasure so far. You've helped me improve not just my physique, but also the way I coach. Just learning a lot from you and your processes and how you take things. So yeah, it's been a great learning experience, and yeah, I'm looking forward to more of these in the future.
Absolutely amazing podcast, Guneet. The people are going to learn a lot. They are going to see both side of the things, how the coach thinks about things, how the client thinks about things, and what they actually go through, and how to actually navigate through the problems that they come across. So the learnings for everybody is going to be massive from this. And I am going to link all of your social media links down below so that people could stay in touch with you and get connected with you, as well as you are somebody, I believe, who is sharing gold of an information on social media, where we get a lot of misinformation as well. So people could always stay connected with you as well as with me, so that they get the right information and are directed in the right direction to not waste their time, efforts, and money here on.
Thank you.
Anything else that you would like to say on that note, Guneet?
No, nothing else. I think that's you've put it across perfectly, and thank you for having me on the podcast. I think it's been a great conversation. It's the one of the first 2-3 times I've done a podcast, and it's been really amazing. So yeah, that's all.
Fantastic, Guneet. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your efforts, and have a very nice day ahead. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye to all of the listeners. And hopefully, we'll meet you in the next podcast really soon with a super amazing guest, just like Guneet. And stay tuned.